Hello fragrance family, welcome to Fragrance Therapy. I'm your host Alim. So I recently had a get together. I thought it would be fun to see what non-fragrance enthusiasts thought about some of the most popular cologne fragrances out there. So naturally, I set up a tournament. On one side I had the classics, think Asad, Hawas, Cub de Nuit, Intense Man. On the other side I had new gen hyped up fragrances like Liquid Brune, French Avenue's Vulcan Fue, Marwa, from Arabia Prestige. Then at the end, I had the winner of one side go against the winner of the other, and only one came out on top. So 16 clone fragrances, 8 classics, 8 hyped up new gen fragrances, tournament style with one winner. So let's see how it played out. So I had a pretty good variety of people. I had like teenagers all the way to 70-year-olds, pretty even split between men and women. And I'm telling you right now, especially on the new gen side, there was some real shockers. So quickly, let's just go through the entrants. On the classic side, I had Club de Nuit Intense Man, specifically the limited edition. I had Shiaka Silver, also known as Shiaka Red. I had Lattafa's Asad, the OG. Al Watania Cayenne Classic. Rasasi's Hawas, the OG also. Afnan's 9 PM. Lattafa's Khamrah, also the OG. And then Detour Noir by Al Haramain. On the other side, we had the ever-popular Liquid Brune by French Avenue. We had Teriyaki Intense by Lattafa, Rasasi Hawas Fire, Rayhan Pacific Aura, Dumont Nitro Red, the OG, not the Intensely, French Avenue's Vulcan Fue, Armaf's Odyssey Mandarin Sky Elixir, and then Arabia Prestige's Marwa. For the first matchup on the classic side, we have Armaf's Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition and Shiaka Red by Kadlaj. And of course, this is essentially Creed Ventus versus Amouage's Reflection Man. That fruity, smoky icon versus a clean sophistication that also has inspired a lot of newer, really popular fragrances. Think like YSL Myself. Pineapple, smoky birch, lemon citrus burst in the opening. Clean, white florals, woody, sophisticated scent profile with some neroli and jasmine. This thing actually ended up being way closer than I thought it was going to be. I got a little nervous, but at the end of the day, Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition did move on with 57% of the votes. Moving to the other side, by the way, we will be going back and forth between the classics and the new gen. But the first matchup on this side was, of course, French Avenue's Liquid Brune versus Lattafa's Teriyaki Intense. This I think, was voted the most popular clone fragrance from Fragrantica this year. And this one is an original creation from a master perfumer. Of course, with the Liquid Brune, you get that rich, spicy vanilla. An Altair clone, super popular. Almost everybody knows this one by now. Then, of course, Teriyaki Intense, original creation by Quentin Biche. A spicy saffron, honey, and plum. Very unique, very bold, but also beloved. For me, I thought that Liquid Brune was going to run away with this one. This ended up being way closer, and for the first surprise of the day, actually Teriyaki Intense won with 57% of the votes. By the way, I didn't say anything throughout this entire process. I didn't want to influence anyone. And trust me, if I had, things would have gone very differently in some of these matchups. Next matchup on the classic side, we have Lattafa's Asad, which is of course a clone of Dior Sauvage Elixir, versus Al Watania Cayenne Classic, inspired by Dior Homme Intense. Asad, we're looking at spicy, warm, woody, strong notes of black pepper, cloves, and vanilla. On the Cayenne Classic side, we're looking at a powdery, woody, elegant scent. Has a very dominant lipsticky iris note. This was a blowout. I thought more people would like Cayenne Classic, but Asad won by a landslide, 86% of the votes. I would have chose Cayenne Classic, but that's just me. Then we have Rasasi's Hawas Fire, which is of course inspired by Gissa's Imperial Valley, versus one of the best Pacific chill clones out there, Rayhan's Pacific Aura. Of course, with Hawas Fire, we have that Gissa Imperial Valley DNA, but made sweeter. But you still have those warm spices, a bit of mineralic notes, and these beautiful floral notes. Pacific Aura, cloning my favorite Louis Vuitton fragrance. Tropical green, key notes of apricot, mint, and blackcurrant. This one was close. I had a rooting interest, but again, I didn't say anything, because Pacific Chill is one of my favorite Louis Vuittons, and this is an incredible inspiration. But Hawas Fire eked out a win with 57% of the votes. Then we had the Battle of the Sweet Boys, two of the most popular clone fragrances of all time. So we had Afnan's 9 PM, of course, one of the most popular clones out there of JPG Ultramall. And then on the other side, we had Hawas, the OG, of course, a very popular clone of Invictus. 9 p.m. quintessential party scent. Sweet, heavily focuses on vanilla, lavender, and this juicy apple. Hawas, Invictus or Invictus Aqua-ish. Sweet, aquatic, fruity, prominent notes of plum, little saltiness, and citrus. Also a monster performer. In this one-on-one, Hawas did win with 71% of the votes. Next up, we had Dumont Nitro Red versus one of the best God of Fire clones out there, which is French Avenue's Vulcan Fue. With Vulcan Fue, you get that juicy, realistic mango with some fizzy undertones, almost like a soda. You also get some woods, some slight spices. It's not overpowering, but it does add some character. Nitro Red, of course, is kind of a hybrid. You have Invictus, a little bit of BR540, also with that super strong watermelon note, aquatic sweetness mixed with this airy burnt sugar type of DNA from BR540. This one hurt because I thought one that was going to win the entire thing got knocked out in the first round. One of my favorite releases of last year, which is Vulcan Fue, because Nitro won with 57% of the votes. Final matchup on the classic side, we have Lattafa's Khamrah, which is not a clone of Angel Share, kind of lives in the same family, versus Al Harmain's Detour Noir, which is an early and awesome clone of Leighton by Parfums de Marly. Khamrah is boozy, sweet dessert style. You get tons of dates, cinnamon, praline, more of a twist than a one-to-one clone. Detour Noir, warm, spicy, gourmand, comes off very mature, smells like sliced apple pie with a little bit of vanilla. I actually really love this thing. But at the end of the day, Khamrah won by a landslide by the biggest margin of victory because this one won by 100% of the votes. Final matchup of the first round, which is Odyssey Mandarin Sky Elixir by Armaf versus Arabia Prestige's Marwa. Of course, Marwa is one of the most popular clones of Louis Vuitton's Imagination. Refreshing citrus and ginger. It comes off clean, bright, soapy, almost like luxury soap with this deep ambergris base. And this one, the Odyssey Mandarin Sky Elixir, is more of a hybrid. You get JPG Scandal Pour Homme mixed with a little bit of Invictus Victory Elixir. Sweet and zesty, you get citrus and you get caramel with a touch of smokiness. Maybe the biggest upset of the entire tourney, because with 86% of the votes, Mandarin Sky Elixir moves on. So now we were down to the Elite 8, and for the first matchup, we had Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition versus Assad. Now I would have died if Assad moved on, but luckily, Club de Nuit won by 72% of the votes and moves on to the next round. The next thing I thought would be a lot closer than it was, which was Hawas Fire versus Teriyaki Intense, but Hawas Fire won by a landslide of 86% of the votes. This next matchup between Khamrah the OG and Hawas the OG was really close, probably the closest in this entire round, but Hawas won by 57%, and what is surprising is that 2 Rasasi Hawas fragrances made it to the final 4. For the final matchup of this round, we had Dumont's Nitro Red versus Mandarin Sky Elixir, and Nitro won easily with 71% of the votes. It was surprising that this one made it this far, but it is really, really good and really mass appealing, so if you haven't given this one a shot, try it. So it came down to the final 4. On the classic side, we had Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition, and then Rasasi's Hawas, the OG. 2 powerhouse fragrances, not surprising at all. The big surprise was on the new generation fragrances. I could not believe the Marwas, the French Avenue Vulcan Fue. What else? Liquid Brun got knocked out so early. But it goes to show you not everything that us people in the fragrance community love is what maybe regular folks out there that are not so familiar with this stuff love. So on the classic side, we had Club de Nuit versus Hawas, and Club de Nuit won by a landslide. This was 86% of the votes. On this side, the Dumont Nitro Red versus Hawas Fire wasn't close either. This actually, the ladies really carried this one. They love this fragrance. They said that they would love to wear it and smell it on the men. So at the end of the day, Hawas did move on with 71% of the votes. So for the final round, we had Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition from the classic side, going head to head with Rasasi's Hawas Fire from the new generation. This was really, really close. It was majority of the men like this side, majority of the women like this side, but there were some people that were crossing over to the other sides. And at the end of the day, the winner was Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition. Really interesting that one fragrance line that kicked off like this entire thing is still just as popular today. So there you have it, folks, a tournament style video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do more of this stuff. And also please hit that like and subscribe button so we can keep growing this channel together. And as always, stay tuned for more honest, affordable fragrance content. Until next time, I'm out.